Hello, welcome to the 60 Q&A practice. We're going to start off with defense questioning. Ready? Now, first of all, this document was prepared by you. Was it not? Yes, sir. It was. And it was prepared on March 18. Yes, sir. It was. And it recites a series of discussions that you had with Mr. Stanton and others starting on or about March 16. Doesn't it? That's correct. All right. I want you to tell us in your own words, starting with Monday, March 16, the circumstances. First of all, did you attend a meeting on that date with Mr. Weeks in Mr. Stanton's office? Part of the meeting was in his office. Yes, sir. All right. Suppose you tell us what occurred at that time. At the meeting? Yes, sir. Mr. Weeks asked that we accompany him to meet with Mr. Stanton to confirm that we were asking him to put in additional funds or sell the store. I think that he felt at the time that Mr. Stanton would want us to back him up because he didn't feel that he would have believed him. That's what Mr. Weeks told me. All right. Please tell us what occurred on that evening. Well, we met at Mr. Stanton's office. It was suggested because of the hour that we go downstairs to the restaurant in the building and have dinner and talk over dinner, which we did. All right. Will you tell us the substance of the conversation? I really can't remember what was said. I can give you pretty much the substance, but that's going back 2 years. Well, just tell us the substance of it, because I assume you are going to have to testify about this for your own counsel. You might as well tell us the substance of it. I told them that night that I was unable to give them any figure at that time. Mr. Weeks and his accountant had been working on it, and Mr. Weeks had the figures to give to them. Was anything else said at that time? Well, it went almost 5 hours. There was a lot said, but I understand. But was there anything else said in substance at that time? Not that I can remember. In other words, the substance of that conversation at that time was that Mr. Weeks told Mr. Stanton that he needed money, and you said you didn't know how much it was, but they would have to find out from the accountant. Is that a fair summation? Yes, sir. All right. Did anybody say anything to you about putting any other money in the dealership at that meeting? I don't think so. I think they were going to have a meeting the next day. Did you have any discussion during this meeting about what would happen if the money wasn't put in? Yes, sir, we did. And what was that discussion? That we were going to have Mr. Weeks surrender the store to us. Did Mr. Weeks say anything about what his understanding was? That if he didn't have the funds in there March 20, we would have him surrender the store. Did Mr. Weeks say anything at that particular meeting about whether or not he had any discussions with any representative of the corporation? Not really. No, sir. All right. After this evening conversation on March 16, when is the next time you had a conversation with Mr. Stanton? I believe it was the next day. Excuse me, approximately What time of the day, if you remember? 7 in the morning. All right. When was the next conversation that you had with Mr. Stanton after that? The next one was the following day at home in the morning. All right. What time in the morning was that? 6:15. I think that's about right, because I remember he woke me up. I had a small baby at the time. What did Mr. Stanton tell you at that time? I don't really remember the substance. You don't have any independent recollection. Is that right? No, sir, I don't. Okay, and that concludes our Q&A practice for the 60 class.